So last week, I believe it was, I did a video talking about Bernie Sanders being out on tour. And I talked about the headline that I seen that said Bernie Sanders emerges as the voice of the resistance. And I said then that's a pretty impressive and depressing headline because Bernie Sanders is 83 years old. So it's pretty impressive that he's still out there campaigning and still out there getting out there and talking about the important issues at hand. I'll always have respect for the dude. But I said it's also depressing because he's an 83-year-old dude, and we need some young blood, and we need people who are who can get out there with him and be that voice of the resistance as well. And so one thing that I've learned going to all these protests that I've been to and all the conversations that I've had with fellow progressives, liberals, whatever the hell you want to call us, whenever we start talking about potential front runners for our party one day or who might emerge and lead and maybe run in 2028, AOC's name always comes up at the top of that list. And I really feel that AOC is as close as we would ever get to a Bernie Sanders and his ideas. And folks, I really don't think that Bernie or AOC's ideas are really that radical. I'm going to play you a couple of clips of both Bernie and AOC. And as you watch these clips, what I would like for you to keep in mind is, you know how Trump loves to say America first? He's putting America first. Any Trump rally that I ever covered here on the channel, he was always pushing fear. He was always pushing propaganda. He was always putting the blame on someone else. He was always talking about how we never going to have a country again if these radical people, ever got a chance to run it again. And so there was always just a lot of division whenever Trump was talking. But when I hear Bernie and AOC talking, I hear hope. And I see them talking about everybody, not just people that looks like them, not just people that thinks like them. I hear them truly putting America first. So it's really inspiring to see Bernie out there, but it's even more so inspiring now to see AOC out there on the trail with him. And I really hope she keeps doing this because I really think it's starting to work. I think people are catching on. They're tired of the bullshit. There's a lot of people with buyer's remorse that go around. So I'm first going to start off by playing a clip for Bernie, since he's the guy that's still paving the way, and then we're going to play some of AOC and talk more about it. So roll the first one.
Absolutely important is for us never to forget we are today the wealthiest nation in the history of the world. There is no excuse for 800,000 people to be sleeping out on the streets. There is no excuse for 20 million people, including people right here, paying 40 or 50% of their limited incomes for housing. This is America. We can build 4 million units of low-income and affordable housing. We can lower rents. This is America. We should not be the only major nation on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right. The function of a healthcare system is not to make billions in profits for the drug companies and the insurance companies. It is to provide quality care to all. We can do it. We do not have to pay 10 times more for prescription drugs than do the people in other countries. We can take on the greed of the pharmaceutical industry, cut prescription drug prices in half.
Notice the complete difference of tone of Bernie talking to the crowd. He's actually talking to them instead of at them. You know, he's talking with them instead of down to them. And he's talking about everybody. And he's talking about what we should be doing to truly make us great. And notice he's not excluding anyone. He's not pushing anyone out. He's not demonizing any one certain group of people. He's not sitting there coming up with a bunch of catchphrases that they're all repeating. He's not coming up with a bunch of, tasteless and heartless names and saying all this batshit insanity stuff that Trump went out there and said about the battery and the shark and all the ridiculous stuff. And I've yet to hear him say, I don't need you, I just want your vote. He's talking about the issues at hand. He's talking about all the things that when I'm out talking to people, they're saying that this is our concern, this is what we want to see happen. So Bernie's out there putting it down. He's putting down the truth, and he's including everybody. It's a message to me for everyone, for all of America, and not just a radical fringe group that is MAGA. But now that we've watched that clip of Bernie, I want to turn the floor over to AOC because she is on fire in these next couple of clips. Take a look.
They will throw out every label and judgment and cultural debate in the book to keep us distracted, folks. This is what the focus on trans kids is all about. Come on, 1% of the entire population. If people want to have conversations about that, take it to the NCAA. It doesn't need to be on the floor of the United States Congress. We need to be taxing the rich on the floor of the United States Congress. We need to be establishing guaranteed health care on the floor of the United States Congress, not erasing American history on the floor of the United States Congress. We need to be passing a living wage on the floor of the United States Congress.
How many times have I said here on the channel that these culture wars mean nothing and they have no effect on the people right here around me in Appalachia? It has no effect on their life whatsoever. Why are you busy fighting these ridiculous culture wars? Why are you so caught up in that? Why does that make you feel so special and so empowered? It's doing nothing for you. AOC is talking about the issues at hand, the things that actually is going to matter. And when I'm talking to people out there, going to these protests and meeting people and communicating with people and just hearing more people out, I constantly hear them talk about they want universal health care. They want a living wage. They want to see a better future for their sons and their daughters. And they don't want to see all of the checks and balances that we ever had in place destroyed. They want to see a system that, again, doesn't give people handouts, but gives them a fair hand to play in this world. And so I just think that AOC is killing it at the moment, and I hope that she continues to do so, because I think if the more she talks about the issues at hand, and Bernie and everyone that goes out there with them, the more they talk about the issues at hand and the more they drive that point home, I think, while they're driving that point home and people's lives are being wrecked by Trump and they're not getting the stuff that he promised on the campaign trail, I really believe you're going to see more and more people start to turn around. But I absolutely love what AOC says in this next clip, because, see, a lot of people thinks, well, we got to kind of be more like MAGA, or we got to sort of maybe get away from certain issues and certain groups of people. Maybe we need to kind of get away from them in order to win an election. And she makes the point that I'm so glad to hear someone finally make. No, we lean into who we are even harder, and we come at them even harder. So take a look at this one.
But I will say this to those leaders on either side of the aisle who are willing to put their fellow Americans down so that they can get ahead or feel better about themselves, they may best find a home somewhere else. And if you're an LGBT kid or a family, we can't throw you under the bus in order to win an election. In this house, we stand together, because here we know that together, without exception, is the only way that we can win.
I love how she said we can't throw them under the bus in order to win an election. Do you realize the number of people that Donald Trump has thrown under the bus to get back where he got? Do you realize the people that he was willing to step over, the people he was willing to pay off, the people he was willing to just run complete over the top of to get where he got? And she's saying, no, that's not who we are. We don't leave people behind. We stand up for people and we lift them up, and we don't throw them under the bus just to win an election. We don't go over here and try to be MAGA light. That's not what this world is looking for. That's not what we're wanting. More and more of us needs to stand up and speak out and stand with each other and not throw each other under the bus. I did a really good video here on the channel. It's a live stream that we did. I talked with Jenna, who is a trans activist, and she and I had one of the best conversations that I've had here on the channel. And while that conversation was going on, I happened to see one of the comments go rolling by, and someone said, Brando, you're going to lose a lot of followers having someone like this on your channel. And to them I say, I do not care, because I'm not going to throw people under the bus. And if someone didn't realize now which side I stood on, and if someone now is late to the party and didn't know what this was all about, I'm not going to miss them at all. because I'm not going to stop standing up for what I believe. I've came a long way in my life. I've worked really hard to be a better person and have a better understanding. I've made tons and tons of mistakes and done tons and tons of stupid shit. And I used to think a bunch of stupid shit too. I used to believe a lot of the stupid ass hot takes that I seen and would go to bat for them. And it took me a long time of keeping an open mind and listening to people and educating myself on things. And so if somebody missed a meeting and didn't realize that I was willing to sit down and have a conversation with a trans person, then see you later and you won't be missed, because we have to stand up for each other. And it's so good to see Bernie and AOC out there just crushing it. And I think that those crowds are going to keep getting bigger because Donald Trump's going to keep becoming a bigger and bigger fuck up. And as he does, more and more people is going to be affected by it. More and more people is going to have buyer's remorse. And so I say to the Bernies and the AOCs, I know Bernie's not going to be president. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying to someone like AOC, you get this momentum, keep it going, and don't let up. I always do my boxing analogies. When you get somebody on the hook, go in and get the knockout. And so when you get that crowd hooked, just make sure you drive your point home. And I know she'll do so. Like I said, she's one of the first names that comes out anytime someone speaks about the future contenders. And what's funny is there is one comment I get from people, and a lot of people that's very like-minded, even some of my close friends, even some of my family will say, yeah, I like AOC, but I don't know if she can win. I don't know if a woman can win. And folks, I still believe that, yes, a woman can be president. I still believe that. I think there were reasons why that two women lost to Trump. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the misogyny is definitely out there, 100%. It's there. I would never deny that or try to, push that under the rug and say that don't exist. It absolutely does. But in Hillary Clinton's case, there was so many people who their entire life there was a Bush or a Clinton in the White House. They didn't want the Clintons back, and they had also bought into a bunch of right-wing propaganda that the Clintons was the most evil people in the world. So there was a lot riding against Hillary Clinton. A lot of people viewed her as the establishment. Even Democrats viewed her. There were Democrats and progressive liberal people that viewed her as the establishment, and they didn't want any more of that. And then you take Kamala Harris. I just don't think she had enough time. You can't bring someone out in July and give them August, September, and October to really get a message out there. If she was I'm not trying to Monday morning quarterback the thing, but if she was going to be running, she should have been running at least 2 years sooner, because she didn't have the time that she needed, and she was really still so connected to Joe Biden that's all people seen. So I still think an AOC has a fighting chance, and I still think a woman has a fighting chance. I don't think that that's impossible or out of our reach. And once this country gets a good 4 years, just think about these last couple of weeks. Imagine 4 more years of this shit. Yes, I do believe that it is possible that we could see someone like an AOC as our next president. So let me know what you think in the comments. Can a woman pull it off in 2028? I think so. But either way, we have to keep standing up for people, and we have to keep standing up for the issues at hand. And I'll go back and I'm going to keep repeating this Andy Bashir talking point because it was a damn good one. Talk about the issues at hand, explain them in a way that people can understand, and tell why you have that stance. Tell why you made those decisions. Folks, I really believe if we can buckle down and do more of that, you're going to see those crowd sizes pick up, and you're going to see MAGA sent packing.